Hi, my name is Ben Taney, and this is for my final project for year 2014-2015, first semester. This is a video on how to do, it's all about stock issues, explaining stock issues. So as you know, in debate, you stand up and read pieces of information, or called cards, or evidence, that then the judge listens to, and then you try to persuade the judge to believe something based on what the information says. And then this information has to be categorized into 5 types, and these categories are what makes up the stock issues. And they're pretty important. Like I said, they label the categories when doing debate, and they help you, like your judge, your partner, your opposing team, know what's going to be talked about during the debate. They're pretty important. They're like the foundations of the debate, are based around the stock issues. All right. So let's get into it. The stock issues are inherency, harms, topicality, solvency, and significance. Let's get into it. So first off, with inherency. So this is what's going on in the status quo. And then so what's status quo? Status quo is what's going on in the world today. So basically, inherency is just what's going on in the world today. So for example, the affirmative team can read cards to say why there is a problem in the world today, or what is going on in the world today that is bad or ineffective. Their plan then ends up fixing the problem that they're talking about. The negative team then might actually stand up and say cards that say why there isn't a problem in the world. And if there isn't a problem in the world, then therefore we wouldn't actually need a plan. Reading inherency cards is important, so if the affirmative team isn't actually inherent, or the negative team proves that the affirmative team is not inherent, then the negative team automatically wins. So it is important to read inherency cards. Next is harm cards. These are kind of the meat of the debate. Most of the debates talked about harms. So this just says why the problem is a problem. This can be like the affirmative team, who saying why things says why the things affected by the inherency problem is actually a problem, or like what happens because of what's going on in the inherency, as they'd say earlier. The negative team would read harms about the affirmative plan. So here's an example to hopefully help your confusion if you have any. So for the affirmative team, let's say my shoe is untied. So if my shoe is untied, I can say that that is a problem because my shoe is untied, which is the inherency, and then because my shoe is untied, I might trip and fall, which is the harm. So the harm of having a shoe untied is tripping. The negative team could then stand up and say why during the plan causes harm. So it might be a little silly, but you get the idea. So if I tie my shoes, I might make someone with Velcro shoes jealous, since they don't get the luxury to tie their own shoes. So they might stab me and take my shoes, and that would be a harm of the plan, of course. I mean, another thing is they can also say the negative team could also come up earlier and say like my shoe actually isn't untied. Maybe my shoelace just looks untied, like the strings are long and just they look untied but they're not, or so then because of that the affirmative team wouldn't be inherent. There wouldn't be a problem in the world because my shoe would be tied, and therefore they would actually have to win the debate. So there's probably, I hope, 2 good examples about harms and inherency. Again, harms basically is just says the problem. Next on is topicality. So this is a negative strategy. That says the affirmative team violates a rule of debate and that the win automatically goes to the negative team. Oftentimes the negative team will stand up and read a definition defining some part of the resolution, which is what the entire debate actually is talked about. The negative team would then have to explain why the affirmative team violates, and because if they violate, then the negative team automatically wins. The affirmative team would stand up and read a counter definition, which is a definition that the negative team read, like the same word, but a new definition that fits their plan better. So, So like it makes the judge it lets the judge know 100% that their plan is actually topical. And the AF would also have to say like standards for the definition, which are just reasons why to accept their definition over the negative team. Let's see. Doing kind of topicality is important because it's almost always applicable, and if the negative team proves that the affirmative team isn't topical, then they automatically win. Alright? Also, it isn't something judges like to hear about, so it isn't suggested to run 5 minutes of topicality. You only have to do a couple minutes of topicality in a speech. So, you don't do a whole bunch of topicality, but it's a good filler of time if you need it. And you can win off it. Okay, next, on to solvency. And this is in the name. This just says how the plan solves. It's in the, like I said, it's in the name. So the AF team can usually stand up and say how their plan solves, and how it will solve the problem in the status quo. The negative team usually stands up and can say that the affirmative plan won't actually solve. So back with my shoe tying plan, the affirmative team can say that tying my shoes will avoid me from tripping. That could be their plan. And the negative team might say that the plan can't be about tying shoes because maybe I can't tie my shoes. Therefore, the plan can't solve since it can't happen. There's an example of solvency. And significance, this just says how important or big the plan is and how bad it will be if we do the plan. Or, who basically can get the tell the best story of how the opposing team causes human extinction tends to win the debate. Because nothing is more significant than human extinction. So back to my shoe example, the affirmative team can say that tripping and falling is significant because it directly affects yourself and causes significant pain. The negative could say that getting stabbed is significantly worse than falling and tripping. So there's what's the more significant, falling or getting stabbed, which is my negative theory of tying your shoes. So thanks for watching. Hope this helps. Hope my examples kind of put into a little bit clearer of my jibber jabber words. Thanks for watching.